I, a 28-year-old woman, encountered Zach, my 28-year-old fiancé, 3 years prior through a dating application. Though we embarked on several outings, the initial spark dimmed as we discerned fundamental disparities in our personas. Zach exuded a proclivity towards social engagements, often gravitating towards bustling bars and clubs, whereas I found solace in a more tranquil existence. My disposition held no animosity towards those who embraced the vivacious nightlife, yet it failed to resonate with my personal inclinations. Moreover, Zach's status as the heir to his father's business shielded him from the career-related anxieties that plagued me. Consequently, I opted to disengage after our initial encounters, perceiving our disparities as insurmountable obstacles. However, fate intertwined our paths anew at a mutual friend's birthday celebration several months later. Amidst the convivial ambience of the Sawyer, we found ourselves gravitating towards each other, engaging in animated discourse that surpassed mere pleasantries. Subsequently, Zach extended another invitation, prompting me to reconsider my initial reservations. This time, I resolved to approach our connection with an open mind, acknowledging that our differences need not serve as the harbinger of our demise. Gradually, our bond deepened, evolving into a committed relationship that bore testament to our affection for one another. Nevertheless, amidst the tapestry of our affections lay a discordant note. Zach's penchant for nonchalance and an aversion to solemnity threatened to sow seeds of discontent. While he professed a predilection for spontaneity and a laissez-faire attitude towards life's tribulations, I couldn't help but attribute his demeanor to a lifetime of privilege. Unlike my upbringing, steeped in the ethos of diligence and perseverance instilled by my hardworking parents, both educators, Zach's trajectory was markedly different. His familial pedigree afforded him a cushioned existence, shielded from the exigencies of reality by the protective embrace of nepotism. Our cohabitation, initiated a year into our courtship, served as a crucible wherein Zach's arrested development became starkly evident. His proclivity for idleness, punctuated by marathon gaming sessions and sporadic forays to the gym, stood in stark contrast to my ethos of industriousness. While I toiled diligently in my capacity as a dentist, Zach exhibited a casual disregard for professional responsibilities, buoyed by the safety net of familial patronage. His sporadic attendance at the office and cavalier attitude towards work underscored a troubling complacency, exacerbated by his immunity to censure owing to his familial connections. In essence, Zach epitomized the archetype of privilege, the beneficiary of a life unencumbered by the constraints of meritocracy. Despite my reservations, I harbored a glimmer of hope that our love could transcend the chasm of disparity, bridging our differences through mutual understanding and compromise. Yet, as the days wore on, my optimism waned, eclipsed by the stark reality of our incongruent trajectories. In the realm of professional endeavors, Zach's modus operandi remained ensconced in a cocoon of privilege, shielded by the assurance of a predetermined inheritance. Despite his conspicuous absence from the office and a glaring dearth of hands-on experience, the palliative reassurances from his father served as a panacea for any lingering doubts. The veracity of Zach's qualifications, or lack thereof, seemed inconsequential in the face of nepotistic favoritism and immutable reality that I, albeit begrudgingly, acquiesced to. Conversations regarding Zach's professional trajectory were met with a veneer of indifference, his laissez-faire attitude towards work underscored by a superficial adherence to familial obligations. My attempts at rational discourse were summarily dismissed, relegated to the periphery of his professional purview. Zach's flippant retorts, couched in the rhetoric of financial independence, betrayed a fundamental disconnected dissonance that reverberated discordantly within the confines of our shared existence. Yet, amid the tumult of professional apathy, I found solace in the fulfillment derived from supporting my aging parents. The altruistic impulse to alleviate their burdensome obligations transcended the confines of financial prudence, imbuing my actions with a sense of purpose that defied facile categorization. However, the sanctity of my prerogative was callously challenged when Zach, perturbed by the revelation of my familial assistance, sought to assert dominion over the disposition of my finances. His audacious demand for prior consultation served as a harbinger of discord, igniting the embers of indignation within my breast. The sanctity of financial autonomy, a sacrosanct tenet in my worldview, was callously impugned, a transgression that warranted vehement rebuke. The asymmetrical dynamic that governed our fiscal arrangements precluded any semblance of moral authority on Zach's part, underscoring the fallacy inherent in his demand for regulatory oversight. In the crucible of confrontation, I stood resolute, unyielding in my defense of personal sovereignty. The sanctity of financial autonomy, an immutable prerogative, brooked no compromise in the face of unwarranted intrusion. The ensuing discord, though regrettable, served as a poignant reminder of the incongruities that threatened to fracture the tenuous fabric of our relationship. As a dentist employed at a prestigious hospital, my financial standing affords me the liberty to extend assistance to my aging parents, a gesture I view not as an obligation but as a manifestation of filial duty and personal agency. Thus, when Zach sought to intercede in the disposition of my resources, casting aspersions upon the integrity of my familial relationships, I found myself ensnared in a maelstrom of indignation and disbelief. Our altercation, precipitated by Zach's audacious demand for regulatory oversight, engendered a palpable schism within our relationship, a schism that, despite subsequent apologies and transient reconciliations, remained unhealed. The contours of our engagement, once suffused with the promise of union and shared destiny, now bore witness to the erosion of trust and mutual respect. In the precipice of our impending nuptials, the veneer of marital bliss dissolved beneath the weight of Zach's clandestine machinations. His surreptitious presentation of a document, laden with prohibitive clauses designed to curtail my autonomy and sever familial ties, stood as a testament to the depths of his duplicity. The revelation of this contractual ultimatum, an affront to the sanctity of matrimonial partnership, cast a pall over our impending union, shattering the illusion of harmony and mutual understanding. As I perused the contents of the document, each clause served as a dagger to the heart, betraying a callous disregard for the bonds that tethered me to my familial heritage. The insinuation that my parents harbored ulterior motives, predicated on avarice and opportunism, struck at the very core of my being, leaving me reeling in disbelief and righteous indignation. Zach's feeble attempts at justification, grounded in conjecture and baseless supposition, failed to assuage the tempest of emotions that raged within me. His invocation of familial discord as pretext for draconian measures rang hollow, a thinly veiled attempt to cloak his own insecurities in the garb of paternal concern. In the wake of this revelation, the specter of doubt loomed large, casting a pall over the once bright horizon of our shared future. The solemn vows that we were to exchange, once imbued with the promise of eternity, now stood as a testament to the fragility of trust and the capriciousness of human nature. As I stood at the precipice of this existential reckoning, I found myself grappling with a decision fraught with consequence, a decision that would inexorably shape the trajectory of my future, and perhaps redefine the contours of my very identity. In the convoluted maze of emotions that engulfed me, I found myself grappling with the audacity of Zach's ultimatum, a testament to the depths of his duplicity and the fragility of our once touted union. The document, replete with prohibitive clauses and insinuations of familial malfeasance, served as a clarion call to arms, a harbinger of the discord that lay dormant beneath the veneer of marital bliss. The clause pertaining to financial assistance for my parents, couched in the language of entitlement and presumption, struck at the very heart of our familial bonds. Zach's assertion that such measures were necessary to forestall potential exploitation only served to exacerbate my incredulity, a palpable manifestation of the chasm that yawned between us. As I perused the document, each word served as a dagger to the heart, a damning indictment of Zach's true intentions and the tenuous foundation upon which our relationship rested. The sanctity of our vows, once sacrosanct, now lay in tatters, a casualty of Zach's misguided attempts at control and coercion. Yet, in the crucible of my indignation, a steely resolve emerged, a resolve tempered by the fire of righteous anger and unyielding determination. No longer would I countenance the affront to my dignity and the denigration of my familial ties. Instead, I would exact a measure of retribution, a reckoning that would leave Zach and his ilk reeling in the wake of their own hubris. Thus, as the day of our nuptials dawned, I assumed the facade of marital complacency, concealing the tempest of emotions that raged within. With each step down the aisle, I masked my turmoil behind a veneer of serenity, biding my time until the moment of reckoning arrived. And when that moment came, as I stood before the gathered throng, I seized upon the opportunity to assert my autonomy and reclaim my dignity. With a deft hand, I retrieved my purse from my maid of honor, a symbolic gesture of defiance in the face of tyranny. In that singular act, I reclaimed agency over my destiny, casting off the shackles of oppression and embracing the boundless potential that lay before me. For in that moment, I realized that true liberation lay not in submission but in defiance, in the unyielding pursuit of justice and self-determination. As I unfurled the document to its full extent, a hush fell over the assembly, punctuated only by the rustle of anticipation that swept through the gathering. The sight of the paper in my hands elicited a myriad of reactions, confusion veiled behind polite smiles from some, while alarm danced across the visages of Zach and his family, a harbinger of the storm that was about to descend. With a measured breath, I embarked upon a journey through the labyrinthine clauses, each word a testament to the insidious machinations that had transpired in the shadows of our purported love. With a voice that trembled with both indignation and resolve, I exposed the nefarious contents of the document to the scrutiny of all present, a symphony of disbelief and dawning comprehension echoing in its wake. In that pivotal moment, as the truth unfurled like a tapestry of betrayal, I cast aside the shackles of deceit and manipulation that had bound me to Zach and his ilk. With a defiant flourish, I rent the paper asunder, each tear a cathartic release, a catharsis that reverberated through the very core of my being. The visceral satisfaction of watching the remnants of Zach's coercion flutter to the ground was eclipsed only by the unyielding sense of empowerment that surged within me. In that fleeting instant, I reclaimed agency over my destiny, defiantly spurning the chains of subservience that had threatened to ensnare me. As the fragments of the contract rained down like confetti upon the marble floor, I met Zach's startled gaze with an unflinching resolve, a resolve tempered by the knowledge that, in that moment, I had emerged victorious. With a flicker of defiance in my eyes, I turned on my heel, the echoes of my footsteps a triumphant cadence, a testament to the strength that lay dormant within me all along. With my head held high and my parents by my side, I embarked upon a new chapter, one untethered by the constraints of deceit and manipulation. For in that moment of defiance, I forged a path towards liberation, a path illuminated by the unwavering light of truth and integrity. The aftermath of my decision to call off the wedding has been a tumultuous journey, filled with moments of introspection and reflection. Since that fateful day, I've sought solace within the familiar confines of my parents' home, a sanctuary of love and understanding amidst the chaos that has enveloped my life. In the wake of our aborted union, Zach's reaction was predictably incendiary, an eruption of vitriol and resentment that served as a testament to the depths of his wounded pride. Yet, amidst the cacophony of his tirade, I remained resolute in my conviction, a conviction rooted in the knowledge that I had stood up for the principles that I held dear, even at great personal cost. However, amidst the deafening silence that followed, a plaintive voice pierced the veil of my solitude, a voice laden with accusation and reproach. It was Zach's mother, her tearful lamentations a stark reminder of the collateral damage wrought by my impulsive actions. In her eyes, I had committed the gravest of transgressions, a betrayal not only of Zach and his family but of the sanctity of familial honor and decorum. According to her narrative, my public denunciation of the contract had laid bare the vulnerabilities of their familial pride, a spectacle of humiliation that no amount of contrition could assuage. And yet, as I listened to her impassioned plea for clemency, a kernel of doubt began to gnaw at the edges of my resolve. Had I, in my fervent pursuit of justice, unwittingly transgressed the bounds of propriety and decorum? Was my quest for retribution merely an exercise in self-righteous indignation devoid of empathy and compassion? In the ensuing moments of introspection, I grappled with the implications of my actions, the unintended consequences of a decision made in the heat of the moment. Had I allowed my desire for vengeance to cloud my judgment, blinding me to the potential ramifications of my actions? And yet, even as doubt threatened to engulf me, a steely resolve emerged from the depths of my uncertainty. For in the final analysis, I remained steadfast in my belief that I had acted in accordance with my principles, a beacon of integrity amidst the tempest of moral ambiguity. As the days turned into weeks, and the clamor of public opinion waxed and waned, I found solace in the unwavering support of those who stood by me in my hour of need. For in their eyes, I was not merely a victim of circumstance, but a champion of justice, a heroine whose courage and conviction had served as a clarion call to all who dared to challenge the status quo. As I navigate the complexities of reconciliation and restitution, I remain steadfast in my belief that my actions were not born of malice or spite, but of a fervent desire to uphold the principles of integrity and justice. For in the final analysis, it is not the judgment of others that defines my worth, but the unwavering conviction of my own conscience. The denouement of my relationship with Zach draws near, as the final remnants of our once shared life are gradually untangled. In a few short days, the financial entanglements that bound us will dissolve into memory, leaving behind only the echo of what once was. Oddly enough, I find myself surprisingly unperturbed by the prospect of financial loss. In hindsight, the cost of cancellation pales in comparison to the narrative I now possess, a tale of defiance and liberation that transcends mere monetary value. Indeed, the currency of experience is far more enriching than any sum of money could ever be. As the last of our financial obligations are settled, the curtain falls on this chapter of my life with a finality that is both cathartic and disconcerting. Zach's decision to sever ties only serves to underscore the emotional void that now looms before me, a void that I must navigate with newfound resolve and introspection. In the wake of our dissolution, I find myself grappling with a maelstrom of conflicting emotions, relief mingled with sorrow, liberation tempered by a profound sense of loss. For so long, I defined myself by the parameters of our relationship, and now, with its demise, I am left adrift in the vast expanse of uncertainty. Yet, amidst the tumult of my emotions, a glimmer of self-awareness emerges, a beacon of clarity amidst the fog of uncertainty. In acknowledging the complexities of my own emotions, I take solace in the knowledge that healing is a process, one that unfolds at its own pace, guided by the steady hand of time. As the days turn into weeks, and the sting of heartache begins to fade, I find solace in the simple pleasures of everyday life: a sunrise painting the sky with hues of crimson and gold, the gentle embrace of a loved one's touch, the comforting rhythm of my own heartbeat. And though the road ahead may be fraught with uncertainty, I take comfort in the knowledge that I am not alone, that with each passing day, I move one step closer to rediscovering the joy and fulfillment that lies within. Reflecting on Zach's apology, I find solace in the sweetness of his contrition, yet it serves as a bittersweet reminder that some wounds cannot be healed with mere words. Despite his earnest attempt at reconciliation, the irrevocable damage wrought upon our relationship stands as an immutable testament to the complexities of human emotion. Though the parting of ways may have been fraught with acrimony and regret, I am buoyed by the prospect of forging a new path, a path untethered by the shackles of past grievances and unfulfilled promises. While the sadness of our parting lingers like a shadow upon my heart, it is tempered by the promise of a brighter tomorrow, a tomorrow imbued with the possibility of self-discovery and personal growth. Embracing my newfound independence, I embark upon a journey of self-reflection and introspection, a journey marked by a steadfast commitment to self-improvement and self-care. In renting a new apartment near my parents' abode, I seek solace in the comforting embrace of familial love and support, a beacon of light amidst the darkness of uncertainty. With a renewed sense of purpose, I pledge to devote myself wholeheartedly to my passions and pursuits, rediscovering the joys of reading, painting, and other hobbies that had long lain dormant amidst the tumult of my relationship with Zach. As I chart a course towards self-actualization, I am filled with a sense of anticipation, a palpable excitement for the transformative journey that lies ahead. Though the road may be fraught with challenges and obstacles, I take comfort in the knowledge that I am not alone, that the love and encouragement of my parents, the empathy of my friends, and the stability of my career shall serve as steadfast companions upon this odyssey of self-discovery. As the chapters of my life unfold, I invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery, a journey marked by the triumphs and tribulations of the human experience. For in the tapestry of our shared humanity lies the boundless potential for growth, for healing, and for the redemptive power of love.